Election night is notoriously dog eat dog, so we wanted to have these stories up before everybody else so that we could not only gather hits, but we could get a lot of visitors to come back to the Penny Press in the future and use that as a source for local news. So it was two classes, the journalism class and an undergraduate class in journalism. Just under 40 people were reporting that night, not to mention all the advisors from the journalism program were present in the room to help us out, edit the stories, and to review the multimedia pieces. That environment was pretty hectic, but it was also really a great experience to see what it's like in a newsroom.
The vibe on election night, our first election night, was really great to see a whole group of students acting like a newsroom. It was like instant cohesiveness, everybody helping each other, all this excitement, all this energy, all this thought process. How do we exchange of ideas? Very collaborative environment. You know, there's just that sense of a newsroom. We became a newsroom. Instantaneous, you know, just add water. It was a newsroom. Or add pizza and carbonated drinks and caffeine. Enough of that. We would have run all night.
So that night, I actually had 2 computers and an iPad and an iPod Touch and a bunch of other devices sort of swimming around me, and I was manning the social networking feeds of the Peninsula Press, which was sort of our easiest way of getting whatever we were doing, like presenting that to our audience, and it was also sort of coming up on our homepage and the like. It was sort of this interesting event because when we as a journalism class sort of had this formative experience that we sort of all got together and are all there working together. Most of the work we do is sort of independent and separate and sort of split off, and we're all there and people are coming and going.
It was announced in class one day that we would actually be having a live election room for the 2010 elections, and that we were going to be dividing into groups and covering issues that were unfolding on election night relevant to the stories we'd been covering all quarter. So that sounded really interesting. I think I was still a little skeptical if it would work, if we would be able to get the kind of access to actually be able to break a story on election night. But I was able to cover something that was related to the beat I'd been covering all quarter, which was this small coastal town of Half Moon Bay that was having huge budget problems. And so there were a group of us, and another reporter, Joe, went down to Half Moon Bay on election night to actually be on the ground reporting. But prior to that, we'd done a lot of background work to get the story. And I think that's what ultimately paid off, because while we were down there talking to people, we got a call from the city manager who, even before the election results were officially announced, he told us that this measure that would have saved the city from financial ruin did not pass. So we were able to phone that back into the live election room where we had teammates sitting by computers waiting to input the information, and we got it up live on the Peninsula Press before any of the other major publications in the Bay Area, which was exhilarating.